In the words of my mouth and the meditation of mine heart, be acceptable in Yahweh's sight. He is our strength and our Redeemer, and it is in His name, which is His authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, project, and protect tonight's message. Amen. Hola, mi nombre es Kofi. ¿Cómo está? Bonjour, je m'appelle Kofi. Ça va? Ni hao, namaste, osayana kituya, Ohio. I see you. Benut, Wagwan, Kamsa, Kamsamida, Aloha, Ensemble, Abarigani, Akwaba, Madase, Itese. Jambo, Mimi ni Kofi, Nina Farah, Kukatana the Wewe, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Anai Kofai, Helit and Servants of Christ, Mashalom Chi. Hello, everybody. I am Pastor Kofi, Pastor of Servants of Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time by being a voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. Thank you for being on with us on this evening. Prayerfully, all is well with you. I'm coming on a little earlier than usual on a Friday. Fridays, I've been pushing them back to about 8:30 p.m. New York time, but for tonight, as a makeup for yesterday, I was told by the consensus that I needed to rest, so I did rest. Praise Yah. I am back on today and this evening, and so we're going to be obedient to what Yahweh has for us on the docket, so to speak. We also, too, at the top of the hour at 9 p.m. New York time, if you can join us, we'll be doing a watch party on Clapper. So if you can join us on the Clapper app, and we're going to watch a comedy special talking about marriage by Marcellus D. Wiley. I believe it's a newer special produced by Ali Sadiq, and a very great message that's going to come out of it. So prayerfully you can join us and see what's going on and hear some great things. He's coming from a Christian perspective. Nevertheless, there's going to be a lot of biblical stuff that's going to reign true in that. And so prayerfully, if you're able to join us at the top of the hour, we're thankful and grateful, and we hope that you can. We'd be honored to have you with us. Praise Yahweh. As you can see, still on the road traveling. Didn't quite get to the destination, but we are resting for the night. Praise Yah. So we have the ability now, no matter where we go, to rest. So we're thankful and grateful for that. So keep us in prayer. Prayerfully, we'll reach home. We'll be homebound at least, and touch home. I don't know if we'll stay home, but hopefully we'll touch home sometime tomorrow, sometime during today if you're going 6 p.m. to 5:59 p.m. But at the top of the hour, 9 p.m. New York time, we will make sure that we meet together for our watch party. If we have your information and you on Google Calendar invite, you should already have that. If for some reason you don't have it, then it gets to be, 8:50 or so. I'm gonna try and end this by 8:30 to 8:45. So if you don't hear from me by 8:50 or 8:55, or you don't see it, we can't post it all the places in public. But if you don't see it in different places like WhatsApp and other places like that, or in the text train, etc., then we just ask that you do your best to reach out to somebody who's part of SOC and get the information. But really, it's just going to be on Clapper. So if you have the Clapper app and you can be with us at 9 p.m. New York time, we would greatly appreciate you doing so. Thank you so much for being on with us tonight. So we're going to go ahead and get into the message. It's already 8:03, so let's go ahead and get into this. We'll do our Bible pledge, and then we'll jump right in. And thank you, everybody, for being on once again. Praise Yahweh. So so we praise Yah for you all for being on, and thank you again. So we'll go ahead and say our Bible pledge. You can just repeat after me. This is my Bible. This is my sword. In this will I trust. For Yahshua is Lord. No sword of God shall ever be heard. For this is my Bible, and this is Yah's word. Hashem Yahweh. Aman, which is in Yahweh Shem, his name is authority. Amen. Alrighty. So, in speaking on what we're going to speak on tonight, now I apologize. Let me say shalom to everybody real quick. How you doing, Minister Steven, Sister Knight, Sister Beck, Sister Dawn. Forgive me if I'm bold servant. I missed somebody. D-Dub, if you're still on. Elf_15. Sister Mignon, Sister Judith. Joshua. Elder Select Tamara, everybody who's on, appreciate, love you all. Still keeping Sister Dawn in prayer, loss of mother. Big Brother Thomas in prayer, loss recently of a sister at the beginning of the year, or at the end of the year into the beginning of the year, his father, excuse me. Praying for you both as well. And thank you, everybody, for being on. So tonight, we are going to jump into a great message, dynamic message. Shabbat Shalom once again to everybody. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. I'm on happy Sabbath, all that great stuff. So tonight we are going to speak specifically about royalty, and the theme for tonight is royalty has a hard time fitting in. I'm on royalty has a hard time fitting in. Male royalty, female royalty, kingdom, right? Person with a kingdom mindset, you will have a hard time fitting in. Now, this is what I mean. I've been doing some speaking with Yahweh recently, making sure, especially in times that have been going on and things that have gone on within our community, specifically in recent times, I've been making sure that I've been chewing the fat, so to speak. I know we don't chew fat. How about chewing the cud? I don't know, but I've been making sure I've been chewing and mulling over. I've been in that shine kind of mode for a while, trying to make sure that I'm not big-headed, right? And I don't come off the wrong way. Sometimes you can't help but come off the wrong way. But been trying really hard to make sure that I do so. How you doing, brother yourself? How you doing, sister Danielle? I'm Danielle. I'm on. I've been trying really hard to work on that, right? And one of the things that I've been bothered by, if I'm being honest, Holy Spirit's been dealing with me, but I didn't expect her to deal in this regard, where because we are kingdom, I've been trying my best to make sure that any king doesn't become out of touch with his environment, right? A lot of times for example, a lot of persons in comedy, especially persons that are in kind of the Joe Rogan sphere, if you know what that is, a lot of comedians that are under him, they lose touch with reality because they're so busy trying to fight for so-called the right to free speech. A lot of comedians are there fighting for the right to free speech so much that they actually haven't thought about what their speech indicates about their humanity or lack thereof, right? There's some persons who have podcasts and they are comedians and they become so rich, and they were actually born rich too. A lot of persons don't know about certain persons, but anyways, some of them were born rich, but they become so rich that they start to only talk about their being rich and joke about persons, even including calling them poors now, which has become a thing. And so, I watch brothers and sisters who we came up in the TikTok game together, and now I've seen, some things from them to where it's like, oh, you think you've become beyond reproach. I try to make sure that I'm approachable, that persons can reach out, that persons can communicate. How you doing, Darius? How you doing, Sister Sherry? I try to make sure that I don't, as SOC grows, as my personal life grows, as blessings come, that I stay in tune, stay connected, and don't forget to a certain extent where I come from. I mean, I don't want to forget, but I don't want to be focused in it, but I don't want to forget and stop, as the young person say nowadays, as my son would say, I don't want to stop touching earth. I want to make sure that I stay grounded, right? How you doing, Brother TJ? That being said, I've come across a difficult place, if I'll be honest with you. It's not difficult anymore, but it took me a while because this is something that I've been mulling over for a while. And I didn't even know how to really express it because I wasn't capable of even receiving it. How you doing, Sister Net? You ever got something from Yah where you want to express it, but you don't even know how because it's like it's still downloading? Like I want to give this out. I want to explain this. I want to share this with the world and share this with the remnant and share this with Israel at the same time. I'm like, I don't even know how to if I'm receiving this correctly because of my background and being told that piety was more important than spirituality. In other words, you being poor was what told persons how spiritual you were, right? Poor in mind sometimes, poor in finance, poor in eating habits, whatever, But we look at ourselves as the fact that we are poor. That shows that Yah's with us. I'm not talking about prosperity message. I'm not switching up on him. But I'm just saying, right? We were raised with a hole with a wooden spoon with holes and splinters in it for so long that when we eat food that doesn't have splinters inside of it, right, we feel bad because others around us are still with splinters, and so we feel like we don't fit in. right? I know that's weird. I hope that makes sense, right? But there's a lot of stuff that we, when we start to get blessed, it can be easy to feel a certain way. And I just want to talk about that, that once again, royalty has a hard time fitting in. Um, and the reason is because as much as you might try to fit in, at the end of the day, you are who you are. This doesn't mean that I have to be careful because somebody once again will think he's got big head. See, here it is. I've been waiting on it, right? Here it is. He's about to lose it. No. Like real talk. Royalty has a hard time fitting in because as much as we talk about, if you are malnourished and don't have proper nutrition spiritually, it's hard for you to have certain spiritual conversations. It's hard for those who have never dealt with any kind of wealth at all. You can give them, they can win the lottery and become broke within 2 years. That stuff is there and is relevant. How you doing, House of Shalom? Also on the flip side though, what Yah has been dealing with me in is that I am royalty. We are in the kingdom, and in this kingdom he is a king over kings. He is Malacheh at Malacheh, right? He is the one and only, and he gives us, there is nobody in the kingdom who is not royalty. And if you are in the kingdom and you're not royalty, you are supposed to be being trained to become royalty. It is a family, and a royal family at that, right? How you doing, Jose? And thank y'all for the love. And so one of the things I've been battling with is yet Holy Spirit, she's been showing me, revealing to me that it becomes difficult to deal with persons when you are royalty and you're trying to push your royal nature to the side, that everybody would be happy with you and accept you, right? And this is something that we should not do. Now, there is a fine line, I guess you want to say. I don't know if the line is fine or not. It's pretty wide to me. But that being said, I can see where at first this might feel like there's a fine line that we walk. However, what I'm saying is that we have to give up this thing of trying to fit in, right? It is not your fitting in that will cause persons to believe that you're humble. It is the fact that you don't fit in and still are willing to deal with persons or to talk to persons or to receive persons in your life and to take care of persons who are not royal, at least not yet, right? That's humility. And what a lot of us believe humility to be is, I am royalty. Let me stop acting like royalty. And when I stop acting like royalty, that means I've humbled myself. No, humility doesn't mean I give up who I am. You can never stop being royalty. To the place, many of us of a certain age recall how famous and infamous still really, but at the time, Princess Diana was, right? Princess Diana was extremely famous. And even in that, she didn't fit in with other royalty. She therefore became more loved than other royalty. She never fit in with the royal family, although she was the royal family. However, even when she decided to get a divorce from the royal family and no longer wanted to be in the royal family, even when that was the case, she still was considered to be royalty, right? She never stopped. Her being officially on a roster or officially part of a family never told us that she was royal or not. How you doing, Nadia Sanchez? How you doing? Right? And she could always identify with certain things that persons had, but she never could come out of being royalty, right? And the thing that got us about all these different things, she seemed to have genuinely been this place. Not everybody's always genuinely in this place, but the thing that seems to have got us as far as her genuine nature concerning her royalty was, the fact that even though she was royal, she would always take time out to love on persons where they were, right? Her being royal never stopped her ability to identify with others, but she was always royal. Royalty has a certain thing no matter what you try to do, no matter how you try to be, no matter how much you try to hide yourself. If you are royalty, you stand out in the crowd. There's certain things, there's a posture to royalty, right? You can almost smell it. There's almost a waft that goes up in the air. And You can't help it. Something about that person, something about your spirit, something about your demeanor, something about the way you speak to your children, something about the way you hold yourself and hold your character in place, no matter what's there, no matter if it's attacked, etc. Right? And a lot of times we have been, made to feel guilty about our royal nature and about how Yahweh has called us to true governance through royalty. Right? He's called us to a higher plane of thought process through royalty. Right? You were a chosen generation, but also a royal priesthood. Anytime that you take off the royalty, you're not a priest. In our culture, a priest is royal and royalty is priestly. So the priest who denies their royalty is someone who's not worthy of priesthood. The royalty who denies the priesthood is somebody who's not royalty. How you doing, Sister Michelle? Right? Yahweh's ways are higher than our ways, and our ways therefore should be higher than the ways of those who are not in Yahweh's, because we're not really trying to have our own ways, right? Our way, right? Yahweh's ways are not our ways, thus saith Yahweh, nor are our thoughts his thoughts. As high as Shamayam is Arat, are his ways from our ways and his thoughts from our thoughts. Meaning that if I'm going to try to do things my way, I'm always going to fall short. However, if I try to do things his way, I'll be pulled up to a higher plane of existence. And that's going to be royal, right? So those that are around me, I don't change my ways when I'm around them, right? I don't change my ways when I'm around others. That's not how royalty operates. That doesn't make sense. How you doing, Sister Deborah? No matter what I want to do, I can no sooner become royal or become less royal than I can become less black. I was born royal. If you want to even go here, fine. If you don't like that, I was born again royal. And there's, right, even the milk, the sincere milk that was given to me from the bosom of Israel was still royal. It was royal, right? Some of you know about bees and royal honey. If you want to make a queen bee, so to speak, then you have the queen bee do what? Right? She eats royal jelly. Not every bee will eat that kind of jelly. When they need a queen or another queen on deck, they have her eat jelly. Why? Because they need her to turn into what she is. So from birth, she's already being prepped. She's being taught, so to speak, something different. When you're royalty, you walk different. They put books on your head because you don't walk. Your head's not supposed to go down. You're supposed to be able to balance. Your shoulders have to go back to carry the books, right? When you're in the royal family in England, Prince, forgive me, I can't recall his name, Prince William, right? Prince William had to go into Her Majesty's military. How you doing, Auntie Mary? Right? Prince William had to go into the military. He couldn't just be whatever he wanted to be. He had to go into the military. Why? Because Prince William had to make sure that he was doing certain things to make sure that he was worthy of even being a duke and later on becoming royalty. You can't become a king and you have no experience fighting, right? Whatever you do, those who are your subjects, they'll do the same, and you must be of service. Come on, you must be of service. You must do the same thing that they do, right? And so no matter how much Prince William might try, even though I don't believe he really does, but let's just say Prince William is trying to identify, it becomes difficult because what we require of Prince William is, hey, if you're really going to be royalty, you need to be like us. But he can't do that. He's not supposed to do that. He can't be Prince and be you at the same time. Oh, I hope somebody caught that, right? Prince Charles, or King Charles now, can't be king and be you at the same time. Try as he might. He can't. Matter of fact, when he does the things that you would do, you will hold him to a higher standard. Right? I can't be royalty and believe that basically those who are not royalty would be at the same standard that I am. It's a very hard place to be because, once again, I'm trying to identify, right? But I think that persons made the mistake, and I was making the mistake, that by trying to identify with persons who are non-royal, I try to make my identity non-royal. But just because I do not identify as non-royal does not mean I do not empathize with those who are not. Salah. Right? That makes sense? Right? I might not identify as not being royalty, but it doesn't mean I cannot empathize. I might not be okay with some of your non-kingdom works. That does not mean that I cannot pray for you and help you as much as I am allowed as royalty. Right? And we've been taught to excuse behavior. We've been taught to go and do all these different things. We've been taught to allow all these different things to take place and try to act like this is okay. But the reality is that no, like there's certain things that this is what it is. What Yahweh says it is. Right? We don't have to go to this place of trying to make sure that I fit in with everybody, especially those who don't want to try and be righteous. If you're doing your best to live as a sinner, I can't identify like that. Right? And that's okay. Right? Like if you're doing your best to try and identify something outside of whatever Yahweh wants you to do, you identify as that. But, and that's all right. Once again, that's okay for you to do that. But that's not, it's not my responsibility to try and identify. If somebody's out, I'm not saying, see, this is where it gets tough. Because it sounds like, I hope it doesn't come across that way. I can only just be honest, though. I can only talk about where I'm at and where I'm at in my studies and stuff like that. Right? Come on. Yeah. What standard are you under? Right? I cannot leave the throne or the throne room, or I have to acknowledge as a king, wherever my foot treads, that means that the kingdom is where I am. This is why kings very rarely, or queens very rarely, or chieftains very rarely leave their throne. Why? Because wherever the royalty goes, the throne follows. This is why they used to have a practice of kidnapping royalty, and they would kidnap them, but they would never take their lives. Why would they never take their lives? They don't take their lives because the throne is where they are. So you'll pay a ransom because you know that if the royalty that's taken loses their life, that means the throne loses its life. So either they'll pay for it or they'll have to deny the person's right to the throne so that they can have somebody else sit upon the throne. Right? But wherever I go, the throne goes. Wherever I go, the kingdom goes. Wherever I go, the Ofori household, the Ofori kingdom, even if you will, goes. Wherever Auntie Marion goes, right? The Murphy family, the Parrish family goes. Right? Wherever Sister Michelle goes, the Moss family goes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we have to recognize that even though I want to fit in, this is when it becomes difficult because I can't fit in. It's not that I don't want to. There's in my flesh even still. I would like sometimes to be able to just be like, yo, let's just talk however, but I can't talk with you like that, right? I can't give you that. I have to recognize, even as a pastor, there are times that, yo, we really want to kick it and stuff like that and do stuff, but there are certain things I just can't do because if I even give the mere appearance of being off the throne, right? The household could be in trouble. The organization could be in trouble. The business could be in trouble, right? And this is difficult because royalty has a hard time fitting in. Here's why, because royalty will never fit in. True royalty would never fit in. True royalty, it just never will. You are trying, some of us are trying so hard to make sure that, hey, you know what I'm going to do to get everybody to believe what I believe? I'm going to make sure that I'm as agreeable as possible. When I'm around them, I'll even try to make sure they don't have to hear my beliefs, right? When I'm around them, I don't have to do that. When I'm around them, hey, you know what? I'll touch this with children's gloves. When I'm around them, I'll make sure that they don't have to see the stuff. Yeah, I won't eat. I won't eat what they, what they're eating. But at the same time, I won't make it a point to bring my stuff. I'll make sure that I'm always the one who's quiet and this and that or whatever. No, sometimes royalty. See, you're royalty, and they know it. You're royalty, and you're not of the world. That means that you're not even in the same nation or country that they're in. And no matter how much I might want to pretend to be Ukrainian, if I sit down with a Ukrainian, you're going to find out who's Ukrainian and who's not really fast. Okay? Like we can do a pretend thing and be like, okay, we're going to pretend that I'm no. Accent, language, mannerisms, color. We're going to find out very quickly. right? We're going to find out very quickly who someone is. We're going to find out very quickly. You're not the same. You're not built to be the same, right? Really, they're not built to be who they are, who they're trying to pretend to be. Right? You got to recognize you will never fit in. My job is not to fit in, right? My responsibility, my work is not to fit in. My responsibility is to be like, hey, I'm headed somewhere. I would like for you to come in the kingdom. Right? As much as I'm attached, as much love as I have for this person, I have so many family members that I still pray for. But we're disconnected. And it's not because I'm trying to be disconnected. What I stand for disconnects us. Right? Where my foot treads, it disconnects us. I cannot be, we set apart, come on. I cannot be where somebody is, right? It doesn't mean that I don't love them. I love my enemies. So even if you the worst of the worst, love is not like. Hey, how you doing, Minister Tracy? Love is not to like. So hear what I'm saying, beloved? We're not even in a situation where we're trying to make sure that like I don't like you. It has nothing to do with liking you, right? I can love you. Love is an action, but I can only love you where you allow me to love you. I can only love you where you allow me to love you. And if your mindset is that I want you to give, see, watch this. You have to be okay as royalty, right? We love, but we have to love according to the kingdom. My love can't be outside the kingdom, right? Or else I'll love something that could be hedonistic. I can love something that could be antagonistic. I can love something that can be sinful, dreadful, right? I can love these things if I'm not careful. I'm not here to love the sinful, right? Or to love the sin, definitely. And so if somebody's doing sin, if y'all can't look upon it, why should I? This is when persons don't like it. But this is the truth. As the royalty that I am, I have a set of decrees and commands and right? And commandments and statutes, etc., and principles and principalities that I live by. And if y'all can't look on your sin, I can't either. It's not that I can't love you, but your sin causes me to have to turn away and let you know that if we're going to be cool, you're going to have to get that together. Doesn't mean that if I see you in the street, I can't say what's up. But as soon as you start bringing that sin to me, hey man, I'll see you later. It's hard for royalty to fit in, but royalty doesn't fit in. That's why it's hard. We're trying to put a square peg in a round hole, or is it vice versa? Whatever. I think it works either way, right? We're trying so hard to be like, hey, y'all wants me to separate and to stand out and to be obedient, and I'm trying to figure out how to make it work with disobedient folk. I'm trying to figure out how to deal with folk that cuss me out. I'm trying to figure out how to deal with folk that won't do what they're supposed to do biblically. Right? Can I just be honest for you? This is why the Bible says, touch man, no man suddenly, right? Also, can I give you a little something? Don't pray for everybody. See, this stuff right here, this is when royalty kicks in, and it hurts. It hurts me to say, because I know a lot of persons aren't going to like it. You said, but royalty is a system based on, no. It would be, if it were ISM, it would be a system. Right? Now, if you're talking about violence, it depends on what kind of royalty you are. That's like saying that democracy is automatically justice. And for my people all around the world, that is definitely not the case. Doesn't matter if you're Dutch, they didn't do my people well, right? Even outside of royalty, still don't, right? Persons who would say that England treats my people well, no. United States of America, no. Canada, no, right? So when you talk about royalty, first of all, royalty is not a system. Royalty is a noun. Royalty is not an action. Royalty is a noun, right? And true royalty, by the way. Now, once again, if you, it's like saying, and I get that part of it, because there's many persons that, once again, aren't in my community. They're not in my culture. And so for you, you've been taught to be anti-kings, right? While being pro democracy, pro oligarchy, pro liberalism, pro Green Party, pro whatever. And by the way, you're in a different country too, so you know those parties might vary. But that's what persons are here for, doing all these different things or whatever. In my culture, right? If I go to a chieftain, chieftains operate a lot different. For example, do you know that in my communities, and because I'm mixed with a lot of different things to be honest, but in all of them, you know that basically, except for in Israel and even to a certain extent there too, but I'll give you the other ones now. The persons who are made to be so-called kings cannot even sit on the throne unless a woman allows it or a group of women allow it. Totally different idea. And if he gets out of pocket once he becomes king, they can take him out at any time, which means that now he has to be not only pro-woman, but has to protect women. And anytime they feel like he's not pro-woman or protect women, he's gone. Now, if you're in a culture, right, that thinks that royalty doesn't do that, well, that you're in a culture that royalty for you doesn't do that. That's not my, to be honest with you, no shade, right? Okay, you're Belgian. Okay, so royalty for you should be, you know, Leopold the First, the Second, the Third, and you should see how demeaning that is, right? But for me, he took over persons that were royalty and were actually taking care of my people. He came in and literally even chopped the hands off of princesses who were not even able to really talk properly yet in age, because their parents might not have gathered enough rubber for him. See, so we're coming from a different mindset culturally, and what a kingdom is. Even the person who's trying to discuss the negativity in the kingdom, that's your kingdom, not necessarily mine, you know? Not trying to throw any shade or trying to demean you or act like every black person has always done righteous. I'm just saying there's a different type of thought process when I'm looking at kingdom. You said black people did the same. Okay, sure. So show me the place. By the way, I was at Belgium somewhat recently. Show me the place where we eat nigger hands and nigger toes. Show me where we went into Belgium and took you. See, let's be careful now. See, you're doing a whole weird thing. Let's make it apples to apples. Sure. Once again, I just told you, I'm not saying every single black person or African person has never sinned or fallen short. But once again, you're just trying to be like, we can throw it off, we can do whatever. Yeah. You know, let's talk about zoos. Let's talk about them shaving the teeth of persons. Let's talk about the fact that they literally did all that to take rubber. Let's talk about the fact that they tried to change a bunch of countries, go over them. They literally, King Leopold lies and basically makes a corporation, then takes all the soldiers, retrains them, trains them, and tells them that those black people you're about to go, they're not people, they're animals. When did we do that to you? See, but when you speak kingdom, when you're royalty, true royalty shows up. You see, we're different. And they want us to identify. They want us to go, oh no, you guys did it too. Look, if we did anything close to it, by the way, we talked about this earlier today, so you've missed this, right? I talk about this all the time. Not all skin folk is kinfolk. That's American way of saying, or a black American way, so to speak, of saying, yeah, we know that not everybody that's black is righteous. We know that everybody's black is not for us. We know that not everybody black. And by the way, not everybody white has done things. Just because these are your ancestors doesn't mean that you've done it. But the fact that you're trying to make it a point to, rather than say, yeah, that was messed up, and trying to just be like, well, black people did it too. If Idi Amin did evil, he did evil. Shaka, as great as he was, did some evil, so he did evil. Right? We should classify it as what it is. Queen Nzinga did a lot of righteous stuff. She also did some evil. We should classify it as what it is. You want me to keep going? Queen Ty did some evil, but she did a lot of great things. But if she did evil, it's classified as evil. Why? It says my father might have sinned and fallen short of some things. Guess what? He's a great man, but he fell short. If he fell short, then he fell short. And I should make sure that I attempt to get it better rather than go over it. See, that's true royalty. Somebody who's actually trying to worry about something called a commonwealth. See, in royalty, it should be a commonwealth. The wealth should be common, and how we treat one should be how we treat all. And in the kingdom that I'm part of, everybody's considered to be royalty. Therefore, if everybody's considered to be royalty, everybody should be respected as such. In the kingdom that you're talking about, we definitely weren't considered to be royalty. And to be honest, if I were to probably look at your family tree, you probably weren't considered to be royalty either. But you're caping up for the acts of those who you say that you're against. Salah. Yeah, you're the grandson of a coal miner. You know what they do. Okay. You said that was evil and you're okay with it? Okay, sure. I'm not okay with the evil that was done with my family. I can't look upon it. It sickens me. And I won't repeat it. Doesn't mean that I can't love that family member, but when they try to bring that shortcoming up again, no, I don't mess with that. That's the difference. You see what I'm saying? Being a coal miner or being rich has nothing to do with the conversation. Right? It's not, you see what I'm saying? It extends past, you kind of took it because you didn't like certain things that I said, and you kind of took it to the point of it's got to be black, white. Especially I could hear the tenor. And then when you said you're when you're from Belgium, I mean, that's very clear that, yeah, like somebody doing that to persons, and the fact that you would once again be like, hey, well, black people did it too. That shows me that you are of that ilk. Like when I went over there and they mistreated. And by the way, it wasn't about everybody doing the righteous thing. We went over there and we had French persons speaking to us. My wife fluent in French, and persons disrespected us because of color and stuff like that. Persons didn't take care of us. I was on a flight to where we know what they feel about Africans over there. I was on a flight to see it firsthand and see that we got there, that we were really late leaving from the United States of America. We're trying to get there to connect to a flight to get us over to Ghana. When we get over on the flight and we get over to Belgium, everybody that they could kick out, they wanted to kick us out too, but they were like, oh, you guys are American, at least on paper. I'm really a sovereign, but on paper it shows up the same way it does for everybody else because my rights have to be protected. So, they were like, oh, well, you can stay here. And we got dirty looks, and I walked the streets, and I wanted to see for myself. I wanted to judge things, try to talk to persons, and got some really dirty things said towards me, right? So, I'm not saying everybody over there is, but I'm saying if it's happening, it is happening. Just like if you were to come somewhere and we treated you like that way, hey, we need to tell you we were wrong. It's not all, right? But if it happens, it happens, right? You know about Idi Amin, probably, enough to be able to say he did to save himself, right? Then why not call what he did evil? But this is what I'm saying. Royalty doesn't fit in. It's hard for royalty to fit in, but the key to that is really that royalty doesn't ever fit in. In order to be true royalty is commonwealth, and truth got to be commonwealth. You think of truth, you're right. If you ever recognize truth to be wealth, then you'll always want that to be common to all. I'm going to say that again. I don't know if you caught that, but I'm going to say it again. If you ever want truth, if you ever get to a point where you comprehend that truth is wealth, then you'll always want everybody to be wealthy with truth. Real talk. I'm going to say it one more again. If you ever realize that truth is wealth, then you'll want truth to be common to all. Right? Royalty wants commonwealth. The kingdom is about commonwealth. This is why Virginia's a commonwealth, but it's not. It's a false kingdom. Pennsylvania is a commonwealth, but it's a false kingdom because the wealth's not common. Right? United States is a republic, therefore it's technically a kingdom, even though it's a corporation, more so than a kingdom. Guess what, though? It's false kingdom. Number one, it's false because it's really an artificial kingdom. It's an artificial republic. It's an artificial corporation. A corporation is an artificial person. That's why they own slaves and still own slaves in prisons. That's not real royalty. See, we're trying to connect because of the word royalty. We're trying to say, see, both are royalty, but see, one is faux and one is true. And that's why it doesn't fit in. Because now somebody's trying to define royalty through the prism that was never royalty in the first place. That's like somebody saying that an American is somebody born in the United States Corporation, and the definition by law of an American is a copper-colored person indigenous to the Americas. One is true, and one is faux, or false, fallacy. You see what I'm saying? We're having a conversation about something that's not even close. It's not even close. As much as one might want it to be, it's not even close. Because truth and lies, they don't, well, I guess nowadays persons try to mix them. But technically, truth and lies don't mix. And in the kingdom, it's not just technically. They never have, they never will, they never should, they never did. Half truths are always whole lies. So, yeah, like I said, the kingdom is hard for royalty to fit in. But here's the key: royalty doesn't fit in. Never has, never will. Princess Diana, they never started calling her Di. Even when they tried to call her Lady Di, they called her Lady Di because they were still trying to talk about her royalty. She was still Princess Di. And after she died, she's still Princess Di. And been gone for decades now, and still Princess Di. And if I were to play, some of y'all are of an age where if I were to play, her announcement about her passing right now, a lot of you would start crying as if it was yesterday, because it was not the fact that she stopped being a princess that made her powerful. It was the fact that while she was a princess and while she never stopped being royalty, she still was able, right, to deal with those who are so-called lesser, and help them to be established and help lift them up. Like, did you guys ever see, I think there's one of her what's one of the ones that's even floating around about her now? You guys seen the video? I think it's not recent, but they've been bringing it up recently. The video where she's talking, I don't remember what branch or what nation it was, but she's talking to an African family. She's talking to, or African women. And the women are having conversation, and there's this person, making sure he's shoving the microphone up in her face, and the princess died trying to listen, and then she's looking at the woman. She realizes the woman's face is kind of scrunched up, or she's uncomfortable, and she reaches around the woman, pushes the microphone down out of her face, and then wants the woman to continue to speak. Right? That wasn't her stopping to be a princess. That was her as a princess, or her as royalty, saying, I'm going to use my royalty to put an end to this. Right? This is where we need to be royal more than any other place. Your royalty squashes stuff. Right? The people's champion, so to speak, right? Your royalty squashes stuff. Your being royal squashes things. Right? Your being royalty allows you to be able to say, we're not going to do that. You're able to speak to spirits. You're able to tread upon serpents. You're able to call out the demonic out of persons. Right? You're able to present your wife into yourself. You're able to submit to the mission of your husband. You're able to die for your wife if necessary. You're able to love your enemy in the places that allow you to love them. You're able to do things because of being royal. Never throw your royalty to the side to fit in. That's right. Come on, use your royal privilege. There you go. Right? Like they tell persons all the time, use your white privilege to help blah, blah. And I think that's overblown, but still. But yeah, use your royal privilege. If you're going to use any privilege, use your royal privilege. By me standing on my square, the square of honesty, the square of spirituality, the square of love, the square of passion, the square of a new mind, the square of letting go of the old, not bringing old wine into new wineskins, the square of prayer. Right? That square that I stand on allows me to be able to move mountains that couldn't be moved if I would take my royalty off. Never allow somebody. A lot of persons, you get in fights, you get in disagreements, all this stuff, and persons will be waiting on you. They try to bait you into having some kind of confrontation that is not of your ilk. You would have to come off the throne to have a conversation they're trying to have with you. You dig what I'm saying? You would have to come off the throne to have that conversation. And I don't have to come off the throne. I'm not, right? You have to be of a mindset. You have to speak to yourself. Just because somebody's doing it doesn't mean I'm not going to be royal. Right? Like, because you're royalty, you blessed a lot of persons with things that they couldn't get unless you were the vessel to give it. And then once you as the vessel, Holy Spirit says, okay, shut that off. Persons get upset with you because you shut off what you were giving them. Well, guess what? Even if you shut off what they were given, they start coming at you or whatever. That's not a sign that you're not royal. That's a sign that you as royalty have the right to say no. Say no. Don't jump off your square just because somebody tries to tell you that you're not royal enough. Don't do it. Don't let them do you like that. Right? You have to be of a mindset to recognize what's going on and have a proper thought process concerning that. Amen. All right. I got to be obedient to the time. So we're going to get ready to do our watch party. We're going to watch Brother Marcellus D. Wiley, in his comedy special. It's on marriage. It's going to be on Clapper. So if you have the Clapper app, just go ahead and go to the Clapper app. You can look up Kofi_Ofori, or go on Clapper and type in hashtag find Kofi. You should be able to find it no matter what. Music should be playing starting at, the music will start playing about 9. Well, yeah, the music will start playing at 9 p.m. New York time. And we'll do a quick intro. We'll go right into watching what we have for today. I guess I'm going to have to find another place a little more quiet. I thought because of the time it'd be more quiet, but I'll try to find another place that's quiet enough, and we'll listen to the comedy special and all that. And then once we're finished with the special, we shall maybe talk briefly about it. But outside of that, we hope that you have a great day. So thank you for allowing us to move it to tonight, by the way. I know yesterday you guys told me to take a break, so I took the advice. I took a break. So we're back on track today. And Shabbat Shalom to you. We shall see you guys tomorrow, 8 a.m. New York time. We'll continue our series on Badashat in the live session. 10 a.m. New York time, Elder Select the 9 has a message for us. 11 a.m. New York time, Shabbat school for the babies. 7 p.m. London time, we'll have our meeting for those that are in England. And 7 p.m. New York time, we'll have the men's meeting coming out of the 5 Love Languages book. Amen. So thank you all. Appreciate, love you all. Also, two sisters, start looking at the 5 Love Languages. You might be transitioning into that book sooner than you think. So if you can just have that ready as well. Thank you all for being on. Love you all to life. You all take care. We'll talk to you all soon. And appreciate, love you all. Thank you for being on. As always, we give honor and praise to the Most High. We give our praise and honor to him, for my wife, the Honor Ba'ama, who lives a life that's able to be honored. As always, you can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish. Not A&D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She is a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. Thank you all for being on with us. And as always, remember that you're loved, you're necessary, you're majestic, you're fearfully and wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. All right, Shalom family, Shabbat Shalom, take care. And remember, top of the hour, 9 p.m. New York time, we'll have our watch party, watching the comedy special on Clapper, Kofi_Ofori. We'll see you soon. Peace. Thank you, fam.